Hey guys, I hope you all are doing well. This video is in relation to whether CA can be cracked via self-study. What are you waiting for? So let's tune into the video and understand the answer for the same. So when someone tells me about self-study in relation to CA exams, there are 4 points that I would like to tell them before they go ahead with the idea of self-study. So the first limitation or the limiting factor which I see in relation to self-study is the coverage concern. So let's say you are doing self-study of a particular topic. Let us say you are a CA inter student, you are doing, let's say, self-study of a topic called risk assessment. Let us say you are not able to understand it, you do not understand head or tail of it. You just go to a faculty's revision video and you see the topic of risk assessment. Let us say the ICA study mat has the topic of risk assessment and SA 315 combined together. But let us say the faculty completed only risk assessment in the revision lecture and ignored SA 315 completely. You would not even get to know that the faculty has missed it unless you go back and refer the ICA study mat every single time. And another limitation with regard to coverage is that when you refer revision videos, sometimes faculties tend to skip the C category topics in the revision videos because they have a very remote chance of coming. But all of you know that, considering that you're CA students, you know that there is a thin line between the result successful and the unsuccessful. So when you want to end on the side successful, it is risky to skip anything or leave anything in choice. The second limiting factor which I probably would say is that the concern about the study source. So let us say you are doing self-study as a candidate. Let us say you are stuck in a particular chapter or a concept. You might refer the revision videos of like 2-3 faculties at a time. So what might happen is 2-3 faculties would have incorporated their notes in different manners, and you might get confused on which study source do I refer, which study source do I stick with, which do I refer in the 1.5 days. You might, let's say, be using a faculty's revision video in your first revision. In your second revision, you might feel that it was not really up to the mark. You might switch to a second faculty for your second round of revision. It might lead to a lot of chaos. And the third factor which I would like to point out is in relation to amendments. So for example, I appeared for my CA finals in November 2024. I placed the order for my books somewhere in Jan or Feb 2024 if I'm not wrong. So my books which I received in relation to taxation were based on Finance Act 2023, and they had the amendments incorporated up to July 2023. But as you all are aware, for exams which are held in November, your amendments up to April 30th are applicable for the exams. So if the study material which you are referring has incorporated only amendments till July 2023, that is the ICA study mat in itself which I am referring to, it would be difficult for someone who is doing self-study from the ICA study mat to become aware of the other amendments that are taking place in the intervening period from July 2023 to your April 30, 2024. But let's say you are taking classes from a particular faculty, XYZ faculty. The faculty would have already went through the amendments, incorporated them, provided the lecture support even after the classes got over by uploading them on YouTube, and the classes which they would be uploading would be aligned to that particular study material and not necessarily to institute study material. They would have definitely incorporated everything from ICA study mat, never denying that, but it would be formatted a bit differently and it might be difficult for you to understand because you did not initially take classes from that faculty. So these are some of the 3 factors I noticed, and the fourth important factor is, which is an interlinking between the 3 factors which I initially discussed, is the time factor. Let us say you take all of this into account. Let us say you take the source concern into account, you take the coverage concern into account, you take the amendments also into account, and let's say you multitask between referring 3 to 4 faculties for the best concepts. Like let's say faculty A has covered chapter X perfectly in his revision video but has not covered chapter Y completely. You go to faculty B for chapter Y. So you might be switching here and there between faculties, and at the end of the day, once you study that, you also need to compare with the study mat every single time as to whether this has been covered, this has not been covered. So that is a bit of a time consuming process. But again, if you feel you are someone who's had a commerce background and who's done well in foundation, and you're confident that you can crack CA inter and CA final, like assuming you're starting really early, like even before your CA foundation results come out, let's say you're starting CA inter, you can definitely crack it with self-study. But there are people who do well with coaching, there are people who do well with self-study, so you need to understand what your niche is. For example, in the May 2024 attempt, the AR3 was a person who cleared all 3 levels with self-study. So I think anything is possible. It depends on you. You need to understand yourself. You need to do a skeptical study of yourself. You need to understand your strengths and weaknesses and then take a call. So I did classes for all my 3 levels and I felt it to be very effective because I did not have to go back and forth and refer multiple sources again and again and to compare and again word by word with study mat. That effort was drastically reduced for me. And another reason why I chose classes, as I was saying earlier, was that time is the king in your CA exams. Time is really precious. Time is the ultimatum. So in such a scenario, I would prefer going for classes which already incorporate every single thing into the material, and that is even more helpful, and you don't need to go back and forth, as I said. And I would definitely recommend you to go for classes by looking at demo lectures of faculties if you're able to afford them. In case you're not able to afford them, it's perfectly fine. You can definitely go ahead with self-study by referring the revision lectures. But do ensure that the lectures you are referring incorporate every single concept in ICS study mat. Do a comparison of word by word, para by para with the study mat, and take that comfort and move on in life. And in relation to amendments, there are faculties who also release separate amendment sheets. You can definitely go through them. Like, you can understand the book, the ICS study mat which you're using has amendments up to which period. Then you can do roll forward from that period to your applicable attempt, and then incorporate the additional amendments in your study process as well. So that's it, guys. So the ball is in your court. You can take a call on whether you want to do self-study or whether you want to take coaching classes and how you want to proceed. So cheers, keep learning, keep growing, stay tuned, subscribe, hit the like button, and do share it if you found it insightful. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Ciao.